Alright, so now that we have this calculated, we're ready to visualize it. And since we do want to compare trends across time periods, then we're going to need a line chart. So let's select our data, and let's add one here. So go to Insert, Lines, Line Chart, and it looks like we have a bit of a mess here. So we're looking at 3 series here instead of just 2, and we have 13 months instead of 12. So the problem here, if you recall, is that Excel is reading these year values and these month values here as numbers, and it's trying to work them into the chart and effectively messing everything up. So instead of trying to fix this, I'm just going to delete it. And let's add our line chart manually. So again, I'm going to go to Insert without any of these cells selected and add a blank line chart here. And if we go to Select Data, we can add the series ourselves. So 2020 first with these values. Okay. And add a new one for 2021 with these values. Press OK. You'll notice that we do get the month numbers here automatically, and that's because Excel numbers the x-axis by default. But I would actually like something a little bit more intuitive than that, so I'm going to press OK. And I'm going to add a new column here. Let's call this month number, and this is just going to be the month. And instead of showing numbers here, I'd like to just show the first letter of each month. So January, February, March. It's going to try to autofill, but I can just delete. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. And now that I have those here, I could go back to my chart, Chart Design, select Data, and with a series selected, go to Edit the X-axis, select these new labels, press OK, and you'll see that it'll automatically add it for both of my series here. So this is looking much better. I'm going to add an axis label here just so that I'm completely sure that these are months. So Chart Design, and add a horizontal axis title. So month. Let's add a vertical one as well so we know that this is revenue. And we are going to need a legend as well because right now we don't know which line is which year. So legend, let's do it at the right for now and get rid of these grid lines and the chart border here. And I don't like when you add a legend that it creates all this white space for it. So I'm going to select it, right click, and if I format the legend, I can uncheck this option that, let me move this, says to show the legend without overlapping the chart. If I uncheck, it will overlap it, but I can just move it up here. And then we can still clearly see the legend, but we don't have all of this unnecessary white space. So let's close that. Let's maybe edit our y-axis to get rid of the zeros here. So Format Axis, Number Format, and let's add a custom number format. So what comma is going to get rid of these zeros, and then we can add a K after that to still know that we're looking at thousands of dollars. And we don't need these many labels, so if I go to the axis options, you'll notice that right now the units are in 10,000s, so from 0 to 10,000 to 20. We can change that to 20, and now it goes from 0 to 20 to 40, and we have a little bit more space. I'm going to add some tick marks as well on the outside. And as I do this, you'll notice that I do this a lot when creating charts, just because that's my personal style. So you don't necessarily need to apply the same exact formatting that I'm applying to your own charts. Just make sure that you are applying the DataVis best practices that we covered in the beginning of the course. And I'm going to change the outline of these tick marks to a light gray. Add tick marks for the x-axis as well. And maybe just align the labels to the left and to the top. So that's looking much better as far as formatting now. The only problem is that these zeros are making it look like we have this crazy drop-off in revenue, when the reality is just that these periods haven't happened yet. So to get rid of this, what we could do is to simply delete these values altogether, but now we no longer have any formulas here. So when we do eventually have the data for August, we're not going to be calculating it here, so we're not going to be displaying it on our chart either. So I am going to undo because we do need our formulas, and in the next lecture, we're going to figure out how to deal with this problem.